I need 6 more bodies for tonight. I don't care.
Finish the fucking job.
Make me a martyr.
Welcome to Screen Recaps, and today we are going to be recapping the movie Boy Kills World. In this dystopian world, the city is controlled by the tyrannical Van de Kooi family. Once a year, the head of the family, Hilda, gathers 12 citizens she despises to participate in the culling, where all participants are killed on live television. Boy, a child living a simple life with his eccentric mother, who appears to be part of the resistance, and his sister, Mina, is suddenly thrust into this nightmare. The siblings spend their days together at the arcade or watching TV while eating cereal. Mina often dreams up crazy plans for their future, like robbing a bank to escape the oppressive city. She also enjoys giving Hilda's statue the finger with her whole hand. Tragically, the siblings are eventually chosen for the culling. Boy watches helplessly as his family is killed by Hilda, and he is left for dead in the jungle. Soon, a shaman finds him and nurses him back to health. One injury, however, is permanent. Boy is now deaf and mute. He can't even remember what his voice sounded like, so he uses the voiceover of his favorite video game in his inner thoughts. The shaman begins training Boy so he can one day seek revenge on Hilda. The training includes martial arts, strength training by rolling a statue's head up a hill, and weapons practice. Boy is regularly buried in the mud and uses a bamboo stick to breathe, surviving on the bugs that crawl down the stick for food. If he emerges too early, the shaman scolds him and buries him again. Boy also does all the chores around their home and befriends 2 beetles. The shaman grows his own food, which isn't much, frustrating Boy. Some nights the shaman gives Boy hallucinogens, making him revisit his old memories to keep his goal in mind. However, these visions often drive him crazy. Boy occasionally visits the city to practice reading lips. When someone bothers him, he shows them a piece of paper explaining his situation. He also keeps seeing Mina everywhere because he can't move on from his loss. As years pass, Boy pushes his body to the limit, growing into a powerful young man as the training intensifies. During a training session, Boy gains the upper hand over the shaman but is distracted by another vision of Mina, allowing the shaman to regain control and declare Boy unprepared. Attempting to meditate away the hallucinations proves futile for Boy. On his next visit to town, Boy encounters a flirtatious flower girl, who momentarily brightens his day before government soldiers disrupt the peace, initiating the hunt for 12 citizens for the next culling. As chaos erupts, Boy witnesses Gideon and Glenn, members of the Van der Kooi family, prompting a haunting childhood memory. Boy recalls witnessing Gideon kill a rebel in his home years ago. Glenn's callous behavior during the selection process triggers outrage among the crowd, leading to deadly consequences orchestrated by June 27th, the head enforcer. Though tempted to intervene, the shaman restrains Boy, deeming him unprepared. Frustrated, Boy disobeys the shaman's orders and pursues the enemy. Taking advantage of the chaos, Boy infiltrates the enemy's ranks by hiding in a car trunk and later a warehouse. In the warehouse, Boy confronts a hallucination of Mina, distracting him from his mission. Mistakenly treating the illusion as real, Boy's confrontation alerts the guards, initiating a violent confrontation. Armed with determination, Boy unleashes his combat skills, dispatching soldiers one by one with lethal efficiency. Joined by Basho, a fellow captive, Boy gains an ally in his quest for revenge. Breaking free from his chains, Boy continues his onslaught, facing increasingly desperate foes. Despite overwhelming odds, Boy emerges victorious, eliminating each enemy with calculated precision. However, their triumph is short-lived as Glenn launches a surprise attack, forcing Boy and Basho into a deadly showdown. Glenn misses his shots and Basho retaliates, hitting him in the leg. As Boy prepares to finish Glenn off, Basho reminds him they can extract valuable information from him. During the interrogation, Glenn reveals that Hilda hosts a party at her mansion every year before the culling and even offers his help. However, Basho abruptly kills Glenn by dropping a heavy object on his head. As they leave the warehouse, Boy notices a shadow watching from afar. Basho leads Boy to the secret resistance hideout, only to find it deserted. Suddenly, Benny, another rebel, holds Boy at gunpoint, but lowers his weapon when Basho vouches for him. Benny, speaking a strange dialect that Boy struggles to lip read, explains that soldiers wiped out the rebels, leaving him as the sole survivor. Basho learns his girlfriend is among the dead and breaks down, prompting Boy to comfort him. The trio devises a plan to infiltrate Hilda's party, but Boy is plagued by visions of Mina and memories of his childhood. He still carries a drawing Mina made as a child. Despite not fully understanding the plan explained by Basho and Benny, Boy nods along, encouraged by Mina's apparition. Armed and ready, they head to the mansion in a van. They take out a few guards and a chef, whose uniform Boy uses to gain entry to the party. Unfamiliar with the chef's duties, Boy awkwardly navigates the house, getting distracted by macaroons he's never tasted before. Basho, disguised as a guard, reminds Boy to stay focused. Spotting Hilda, Boy is consumed by a desire for revenge and heads to the kitchen to shed his disguise. A brutal fight ensues as Boy uses a cheese grater to gruesomely defeat the kitchen staff. Armed with a butcher's knife, he storms the dining hall, slitting a guard's throat and decapitating the person at the head of the table, believing it to be Hilda. His celebration is cut short when he realizes he's killed the wrong person. Gideon arrives with guards, revealing the dinner guests are actors, anticipating resistance attacks every year. Boy attempts to take Gideon hostage, but is struck from behind by June 27th, causing him to lose his grip on Gideon. A fierce battle erupts between Boy and June 27th, utilizing every object within reach. As they brawl through the room, Boy lands a solid hit, knocking off June 27th's helmet. Distracted by Mina's apparition commenting on June 27th's beauty, Boy is pushed over a railing and knocked unconscious. Boy dreams of past traumas, the execution of his family, the regime cutting out his tongue, and being left for dead before the shaman saved and trained him for vengeance. Upon waking, Boy finds himself tied to a chair being interrogated by June 27th. Boy defiantly mouths an expletive, prompting her to throw an axe dangerously close to his head. Gideon intervenes, expressing his weariness of the torture and culling. Offering Boy a cigarette, which Boy eats, Gideon explains that Hilda has become a paranoid shell of her former self after years in a bunker. Gideon is aware that they aren't killing enemies anymore, just innocent people. He swears he can end it all if Boy hands in the shaman, but Boy refuses to cooperate, prompting Gideon to strike him. At that moment, Melanie arrives and paints Boy's lips, announcing he will be the main star of the culling. Moments later, Boy is tied up in the studio and given a shock collar. He asks the hallucination of Mina why she didn't let him kill June 27th, but she doesn't know. Soon the show begins and Hilda comes out, but instead of reading the teleprompter, she starts rambling in obvious paranoia. When she sees a shadow in the audience, she pulls out a gun, so Melanie sends the guards to take Hilda away. At that moment, Boy remembers that Gideon hid a scalpel in his pocket, so he takes it out and starts cutting through the ropes. Meanwhile, Melanie announces that this year's culling will have a Winter Wonderland theme with cereal mascots and demonic elves. A group of people in disguise comes out and starts killing the 12 participants in gruesome yet creative ways, covering the fake snow with blood. One of the killers tries to come after Boy, but he uses his legs to bring the attacker down in seconds. He finally frees himself and heads to the stage, only for Melanie to activate his shock collar to bring him down. 4 elves immediately grab him and hold him down for the Goat Man to kill him. However, the Goat Man uses his hammer to hit an elf instead. The other elves barely have time to react before the Goat Man quickly kills them as well. When he removes the goat head, it's revealed to be Basho. At that moment, Benny bursts in with gunfire, causing the crowd to panic. Melanie ends the transmission while Gideon watches with a smile. As the crowd runs out of the studio, Benny continues to shoot any remaining enemies, and Basho explains to Boy how they snuck around wearing soldier uniforms to find him. However, when Benny takes over the explanation, Boy has trouble reading his lips and imagines what happened with funny details like flowers and strange animals. Benny then gives Boy a brass knuckle gun that fires bullets when he punches someone. The trio jumps back into action, easily killing any enemy that dares fight them. Behind the cameras, Melanie realizes Gideon planned this and points a gun at him when he tries to leave. The fight continues, and Boy fights a serial pirate mascot using the knuckle and a carrot from a snowman. Soon he runs out of bullets, but Benny throws him a clip, allowing him to reload the knuckle and punch-shoot the pirate's face. At that moment, Boy sees Mina, who appears scared of this side of him. Melanie tries to use the chance to shoot him, but Benny tackles him to save him and gets shot instead. Basho fires back, scaring Melanie into hiding while Benny dies in Boy's arms, saying something Boy can't understand. Melanie sneaks around and shoots Basho as well before trying to shoot Boy again. He runs up the stage and uses a pineapple mascot as a shield, rolling it down to knock Melanie over and capture her. Boy ties Melanie to a chair and pushes a camera towards her, instantly killing her. Then he checks on Basho, who is alive but very weak. Basho still wants to fight, so the duo takes the hallway and encounters more guards. As Basho starts having trouble walking, Boy continues to kill every man in his way, fueled by memories of his family's death and his hunger for revenge. Several minutes of violence later, all the guards are dead, and Boy snaps out of it to discover Basho has died from his wound. Nearby, Boy finds Gideon, who was also shot by Melanie. With his last ounce of energy, Gideon gives Boy a key card to access Hilda's bunker. As Boy prepares to end his suffering, Mina appears, halting his action. Boy finally tells her she's dead, and he doesn't need her. The hallucination disappears, and Boy proceeds to end Gideon's life. Next, Boy enters the elevator, and Hilda appears on the screen, warning him that his efforts will be futile. Boy shows Hilda Mina's drawing to signify his motivation, causing Hilda to abruptly end the communication. The elevator takes him to the bunker, where the guards refrain from shooting. June 27 guides Boy to the main room, where he discovers family paintings featuring him and Mina as children. Hilda rushes to embrace him and reveals shocking news. Boy and Mina are her children. As Hilda recounts what occurred, Boy begins to recall the truth. He had been at the culling, not as a victim, but as a participant. The real victims were the shaman, his son, a woman he had believed to be his mother, and her daughter. Hilda had forced Boy to fire the gun to kill them, but Boy only managed to kill the children and the woman before breaking down. His shooting became erratic, causing panic and allowing the shaman to escape. Overwhelmed with guilt, Boy fled into the jungle to grieve alone. The shaman found him and initiated a plan to brainwash him, altering his memories and inflicting injuries to make him believe he had been harmed by the government. Back in the present, Hilda concludes the story by revealing that Boy has been unknowingly eliminating his aunts and uncles. She also discloses that June 27 is actually Mina. As Boy collapses in shock, Hilda demands proof that her son is still within him and strikes him when he fails to respond. Convinced that Boy is no longer her son, she orders Mina to kill him. Viewing Boy as no longer her brother, Mina assaults him and prepares to deliver the fatal blow with her axe. However, she hesitates when Boy raises his hand. Recalling the incident with the statue, Mina turns and dispatches her mother instead. Another family member triggers an alarm, prompting the siblings to flee and arm themselves against the incoming soldiers. They engage in combat with the soldiers, displaying remarkable teamwork as they dispatch any who oppose them. Suddenly, they confront 3 guards armed with heavy weapons, resulting in Mina sustaining an injury. Despite her wound, Mina continues to fight alongside Boy, using a soldier as a shield to navigate through the corridor. As more soldiers arrive, the siblings make a dash for the elevator to evade capture. Hilda explains that she has been searching for Boy for years, only resorting to violence because she believed others had harmed him. Suddenly, the elevator is summoned to a different floor, revealing the shaman. Using sign language, the shaman urges Boy to eliminate Mina, claiming she is also part of the evil family. Refusing to comply, Boy intervenes when the shaman attacks Mina. Despite the shaman's formidable skills, Boy fights him alone, sustaining severe injuries in the process. With the help of a vision of his younger self, Boy manages to overcome the shaman and ends his life. Afterward, Boy checks on Mina, confirming she's alive. Despite her insistence that he escape, Boy carries her as they depart together, reminiscing about their days at the arcade and acknowledging the importance of having a player too. Sometime later, the siblings find refuge in an abandoned building, enjoying a moment of familiarity as they share cereal like old times.